Kelly, ready? Okay, we'll call the special meeting of Stark County Commission to order. Today is Thursday, February 19th. It is 1 o'clock. We'll begin with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, first thing on the agenda is to approve the agenda. We cannot, since it's a special meeting, add any items, but we can delete
I
it.
do have something that's not an adding, but, and Daryl Sadowski, the mayor of Gladstone funeral was today, and a firefighter for many years, and I guess I would ask if you could call for a minute of silence.
Absolutely.
Start this meeting.
So we'll have a moment of silence in honor of Daryl Sadowski. Thank you. Okay, then we will move on to the agenda approval
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
by Commissioner Franchuk,
I'll second that.
by Commissioner Claris. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. First item on the agenda is a request from the state's attorney for reimbursement for the trial that they are involved up in Minot. The reimbursement process needs to be expedited from our normal billing cycle, so I believe you have $662.85 worth of bills, or am I wrong? No, there's a second one, isn't there?
4285.
Oh, this one plus this one.
Right.
In charge?
Right,
Okay.
and these will be reimbursed to us, but we need to get them paid first.
So that amount for reimbursement is
660,
I'm sorry.
I think it's 662.85.
85. Yep.
Okay.
662.
Mr. Chairman, I'd move to approve that travel voucher for $662.85.
And I'd second.
Motion by Commissioner Claris, second by Commissioner White. Any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Commissioner Claris.
Aye.
Commissioner White.
Aye.
Commissioner Marsh.
Aye.
Commissioner Franchuk.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion approved. Thank you. Next item on the agenda would be discussion regarding the City of Dickinson Armory and land proposal. We received City Administrator Dossinger was in front of us last week or 2 weeks ago on this. You have in front of you a proposed purchase agreement. We actually had one and requested some small changes, so I'm open for comments, thoughts.
So, are we discussing this here, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Or in general, anything to do with that, I think.
Is this broken into one purchase or two purchases?
Well, both parcels are identified on the purchase agreement.
Okay. I know we went out and looked at that armory last week or the week before. Great building. I don't think they've added anything to it whatsoever since the day it was finished in 1972. So maybe some, like I said, new lighting in the gym. The property around coming back behind the LEC building there, I did hear some conversations about some pavement, some work that had to be done back there.
On the north side of the LEC?
Correct.
Yeah, that's right. That's and the individuals on the LEC board, I think Paul and Karen can
Karen,
maybe address
Bernie.
that a little bit.
And do we have a
Bernie's on
cost?
that as well,
Do we
I'm
have
sorry.
a cost on that?
Well, we haven't actually went out to bids. We've done some, well, actually, did we go get a bid last fall? But it was kind of expensive, and we decided that we'd come back and do it again.
Right. So our original bid was, I think, around 230,000, but it was also kind of towards the end of construction season, and what we were hoping is by bidding it right away in the spring, we wouldn't be paying extra dollars for it being somebody trying to squeeze it into the end of the construction season. And so we are bidding that out.
We had some discussion about delaying that bidding purpose or process until we maybe get through this a little bit here.
Yes.
Just to see where we're at. And just a little background on that, it's basically the north apron around the building. We feel like there's some integrity, we're getting some water in the basement because of the way that pavement looks around the northeast side of that building. So we do believe it's a worthy project for sure. And then not to say that we still can't go forward and get it done, but this process needs to kind of get worked through first, I think, too. So
I agree.
So if there was no transfer of ownership, is that an LEC project?
I believe so.
If there's a transfer of ownership, is it an LEC project?
I would
Yes.
think it still would be, yes, because it's a
Yeah.
combination of all the counties that are involved in
I
that.
agree. I just wanted to clarify that
Yes.
point, so.
And maybe, like I said, maybe this land purchase deal doesn't make a bit of difference in the whole process, but it probably just made some sense to pump the brakes just for a second here until we kind of get some things sorted out here.
Okay.
So just one quick point, what the purchase agreement does is if we approve it, gives us 180 days to do due diligence, to research environmental issues, structural issues, mechanical issues that we would look at, space utilization and refurbishing, so that we could be, fully informed and have all the information in front of us before we take the next step. So someone had asked about that. Are we committed to this? Well, technically, the due diligence wording is pretty soft and lenient in that regard. But I would say if we're going to do this, we're going to at least take a very serious look and expand, or at least explore all the concerns and options.
So in this process, does that include what we would be doing as renovations also? Was that being included in what we're looking at now?
Well, I would think we would. I mean, I don't know. I would think we would do a space plan. I see a couple sheriff's deputies here today. That we would do a space plan and then get some ideas what that space plan revision would look. There's certainly external items that would need to be looked at. And I think we would, we wouldn't have it bid, but I think we would have a general rough idea of what that would take. I don't know if that answers your question.
That's got to be part of our equation.
Yeah, I mean, as some of you know, we did ask a construction manager to come walk through us, who is currently working on, I believe it's the Burley County facility, or they just completed the Burley County facility. So they were pretty confident on, what it would take to get that in order, because there's been, does the HVAC, what works in the HVAC, does the boilers work? Roof, are we up on the roof? Do we have to re-roof it? Do we have any environmental issues? Lead's been mentioned, mold's been mentioned, asbestos has been mentioned.
So who would do it? Are we responsible for doing the environmental survey then?
Yes, we
Is
would
it
have to
level
allocate.
one, level two?
We'd have to allocate some money to do that due diligence, yes.
So then also in this plan, would we be doing any planning on what we're going to be doing with the parts of the old building that would be moving into this building?
That should be part of the process, yes, I agree.
As far as the LEC or?
Yeah, the sheriff's
the office
space.
and stuff faces that are over there now, that's going to be part of the whole process of moving and making both buildings having value of use.
Well, I really can't speak for sure, but I suspect that the Swim Sea group may welcome additional opportunity over
Well,
there.
I'm sure they would.
Yeah,
It's still got to be part of the equation.
yeah, yeah.
Well, I know that the law enforcement, the lower space underneath the jail has been a challenge. I know you've spent a lot of money trying to fix it. And I've had numerous, when I had the sheriff's portfolio, I'd get a call in the middle of the night where, guess what we got rolling down our necks today? So I think a safe environment for the staff over there is
Move 'em out of the basement.
is also very important. But
You s-
if you elect not to do anything here, and we've done all that we need to do to fix that issue, I'm fine with that as well.
So space is pretty valuable. So, I mean, I think once they move out of the basement, there's gonna be a need for that space for something else, right? So whether it's more offices, what have you. So even if we look at that for the sheriff's department, that armory, it sounds like that space where they're currently at could be utilized as well. So there's gonna have to be repairs or some kind of, during this process to upgrade that so we don't continue to have these problems. We have property around the building currently, that's flowing, it looks like, stormwater back into the building as well, so.
That's what this parking lot renovation was all about on that northeast side. We're getting some of that stormwater problem there, but
Yeah, and when Administrator Dossinger was in front of us last week, there was three provisions as part of their reach out. One was a utility easement that's, I believe, on the east side of the building that would need to remain in place. And they wanted to remain the ability to use the shooting range in the LEC Center. And that if on the land, the vacant land of the LEC, they wanted to right of first refusal if the property would, if we would take ownership and elect to resell it at some point in the future. Did I address all those, Dustin? Okay.
So the shooting range belongs to the law enforcement building, SWIMC? Or does it belong to the county?
yeah, I'm
Or
not
where
sure.
does it belong?
I think that's actually Stark County.
Well, county owns the building.
County owns the
Right.
building. Yeah,
But, I mean,
yeah. SWIMC doesn't own it.
I'm just asking,
Yeah, I
you
think
know?
it's Stark County or yeah.
That's part of the county of the shooting range. Yeah.
it should be part of the county because it's part of law enforcement. But, you know,
So when the city moved out and.
I'm sorry.
tw-
Does that need any updating then, once we,
Well, it always has. I've
Mine
always thought, right, it's not in great shape, but
Right.
I'm not sure how much use the guys actually get out of it because of
I
its,
think sheriff's department uses it pretty regular, I think.
I mean,
There
there's
we
been
go.
some, there
There
we
you
go.
go.
Good afternoon. It's actually gotten more use as time goes on. Officers added to DPD, added to us. Dunn County, parole and probation in town. It's on this side of the state, this corner of the state, I should say, southwest North Dakota. It's really the only indoor space that's capable of having more than one or two shooters at a time. It's in pretty poor shape.
That's what I've heard.
That's why I'm asking the questions.
Renovation of that space, just new machines and shooting lanes. 5 or 6 years ago, the one bid that I got was $35,000. Every 2 to 3 years, we partner with DPD and to an extent Dunn County, and we pay to have the backstop cleaned out and new rubber curtains put on just so it's safe to shoot in there. Every 2 to 3 years, that's about $15,000. It's split 3 ways.
I mean, I don't want to, I mean, it's fine where it's at, but this armory, I mean, is there space there to start a different?
That's what was a question I was gonna have. When I did a walkthrough, I was thinking that also.
If we just going by, I was there looking at it with you guys, just eyeballing it. It looks like it's there. It's going to be pretty tight. I think it could work. I think the benefit of owning the armory, the property around is there's spaces where if we're an office or two short, your costs will go up. But could we bump the building out and add one office space or something? Maybe, probably. Generally, in my head, I think it'd work. Without looking at real square footage and comparing it,
You're talking about, you know, the sheriff's department in the armory plus potentially the range as well in the armory or not?
not the range, no,
Okay,
the range.
that's where I was kind of getting at.
That's, yeah.
Kind of stay where it was.
And-
Kind of like the DPD would want to continue using it.
And there's 4 lanes. Is there room to expand it more? Or- I've never been down there, so I don't know.
I think there's, depending on a budget, there's always room to expand it, but I think it'd be very difficult with the brick walls, the
That's what I'm
concrete
saying,
roof
yeah.
above it. It'd be a heck of a project to expand it, but 4 shooting lanes, none of the powered, the target carriers, none of them work. I think actually if we put the fuses back in, one of them worked, but that's why we took the fuses out of them because 3 don't work, just make them all not work. It's
Yep.
whatever. But we do continue to use it, and it gets us increasing amount of use every year.
They could use some TLC.
Could use a lot of work.
Okay.
Do you have
Great.
anything else for me? All right.
Well, you said you walked through the building. You've had 10 days now to think about it. Any thoughts, utilization? Is it worth pursuing, not worth pursuing?
I think
What's your-
talking to other staff, most of them are excited at the idea. You know, a lot of the problems that we have at the LEC wouldn't be problems if we were over there. It's in the same area. Nobody's commute to work really gets any longer, any shorter. South side of the property there, we're going to get more sun in our windows. Generally a good thing, I think. The space is kind of the biggest issue in my head. It seems like it's going to be right there, maybe a little tight, but if we get due diligence in the agreement and we get to look at that and say it will work for sure or it won't, I think that's good enough for me. What does Lieutenant Mayor think? Got it covered. Okay.
Thank you, Jesse.
I appreciate it, because a couple of years ago, I think, when we sat up here and that building was recommended for another organization to move into it when the National Guard was that it wasn't worth salvaging, so, at that point, so.
Yeah.
Concern that I have too, that was,
Well,
back to me at that time was,
yeah, well, the individual we had with said the bones are very good, not an issue. Like, I don't know who said it, I think Commissioner White said it's a 50-year-old building, and it shows it. You know, so those are all things that we'd have to do, and we're gonna have, if we do this, we're gonna have to spend some money doing some space plan and all this kind of stuff. So yeah.
great.
So all we're asking is we got 6 months on this purchase to review it.
Right.
180 days.
So I think the process, Commissioner White, would be to authorize the execution of the agreement, and then at very near future, authorize some funds to do what we want to do due diligence-wise. So,
Do we have any idea as far as what, we're gonna have to do an environmental?
yeah,
right?
there's environmental, structural, mechanical, just, we're gonna have to get somebody in there to design a space. I'm sure you're gonna have to engage an architect to do that. We have to harden the building, which would probably, correct me if I'm wrong, Jesse or Eldon, which means we potentially reduce the size of the windows on that south side a little bit so that that's hardened off. Those kind of things, so.
It'd probably be a 2-year project anyway, once from,
Oh, I would think, yeah, when you started banging away, it's gonna be a while.
Has Amanda looked over this? I'm sure she has.
She has, actually. Her and Christina have gone back and forth on a couple revisions, and this is the
so I mean,
latest version.
in this purchase agreement, is there any earnest money that we have to put up on this thing, or is it just a?
There is none referenced in the agreement. Political sub typically don't have
I
that.
was thinking that, so I just wanted to clarify it.
And then this will give us a time to see what we need for the environmental impact or level 1, level 2, whatever it requires for the environmental plan to get put together, see if there's anything there.
Correct.
Have we identified anybody to do the plans of the
Well, we'd
facility?
have to bid that. We'd have to go out on an RFP, I believe. So I didn't want to get ahead of us. So I think we would take that into consideration and look for some opportunities to do that.
Well, I think we've had a fairly positive response from law enforcement. That's who we're planning on putting in there. I think that it gives us every opportunity to see if this building really works for us. So,
I guess next question is, how do we budget it?
Yeah.
well, that's always, yeah. Oh, that part. Yeah.
Money, what the heck?
We have I think we have some set aside in our capital improvement budget or fund, I should say, right?
We do. We have, in our capital improvements, we allocated $1 million this year for the LEC pipe repair that is going on. And so you're probably looking then at, you have about if we use the full million, which we will, you're probably looking at about 3.4 is the balance in there in our capital improvements.
And so just for a point of reference, since I had the conversation with the construction manager, you know, you always ask the question, okay, what's this going to look like financially and those kind of things? And in that industry, we would say, what do you want the end to look like? And typically you would score it on a scale of 1 to 10. We don't need to put a 10 look on that. It's not a bank. It's not an attorney's building. So if you want to shoot for that 6, 7, 8 range where you've got nice quality finished space, safe working environment, all these kind of things with a good physical curbside look, we were kind of in that 175 to 225 per square foot of office space. So the way I stepped it off, there's, you know, we were going to, Bernie wasn't there that day, but where we would typically now walk into the gym, that would be closed off and add 2 more offices in that kind of entryway. So you're looking at a little over 52 or 100 square feet that would have to be refurbished. So you're looking probably 1.3 million to do that. The value put on that building is 670. So we would probably be, you know, 2.2 million when this is all done. Based on a 2-hour walkthrough of the building. Certainly not going to hold anybody to it, but that's just for reference point.
And that's just for the building itself.
That's not for the land.
So-
That is outside of the land contract for the LEC space, yes,
Okay.
yes.
And is there any, I don't know if there was any discussions with you guys how, is there gonna be garage space on that too for the cars to come in, or was that, any of that planned on, or?
Postal garage off on the corner of the property that's shared with the jail.
Okay,
Emergency management's needs change and they order more training stuff. Eventually, we will probably need another garage.
and I didn't know if you needed something for the renters on the second floor of the LEC building, once they get dropped off indoors, or,
We have 2 stalls in the current garage.
okay, and that, okay, so you won't need that then. So the buildings don't need to be connected either?
As far as the armory and the garage, or the armory and the.
So the Armory and the LEC building, there's no need to have them connected? Or a hallway through them?
Nice, probably not required.
Okay. May happen before it's all said and done.
I would suggest that, again, if we do this, we would get a building committee together, you know, bring the players all together, what's needed, what's wanted, and separate the needs from the wants. A lot of times there's more wants than needs. And then just put all this together and hopefully come up with a budgetary number that we can say yes or no to.
So would you put the estimated value on that Armory at? You said 600 and something?
Well, the city appraisal done by outside third party is 670.
Okay.
Thoughts, wishes, questions?
I'll make a motion that we have authorize the chairman to sign this purchase agreement that we have in front of us.
I'll second that.
We have a motion by Commissioner Franchuk, seconded by Commissioner Marsh to authorize the execution of the purchase agreement. Any other comments?
Can this all be done in 6 months?
Well, yeah,
I would hope so.
reasonable extensions allowed, right, Mr. Dossinger? Okay. I think, yes, to be honest with you, I think you can get what you need in 6 months.
And
Because
one,
you can do multiple things. You don't have to do one, do the environmental and wait for the structure and wait for the, you can do the planning of the space, you can do all the inspections simultaneously, so. Okay, any other questions? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Chair votes aye. Motion carried. Thank you. Okay, next item on the agenda is Stark County Fair Association information.
Okay. Do you want me to start with that?
Yeah, I think the background was that if funds were being distributed to the Fair Association, that we were looking for some financial documentation, so, and they have provided some. So if you want to highlight those.
Yes, so the last commission meeting, we discussed the Fair Association. I said that I had some concerns with some of the changes and operating, and I didn't even know where the financials were. And we were withholding the check for the Fair Association until we had some documentation and heard back from the Fair Association. I did have a conversation. Frank Klein, he is the chairman of the Fair Association, came into my office. He did bring me some documentation. Some of it isn't very usable because it's from 25 and the dates and stuff weren't clear. And so I didn't feel comfortable sending that to the commission. But this is what they had, and you received in your packets their 26 budget that they did approve at one of their Fair Association meetings, and also a financial position statement as of January 28th. I included that. And also some stuff about the Fair Association, where it came into, some memorandums of understanding, with as far as the Fair Association in 2018 did turn over any sort of assets to the county, and the purpose of that was to be under our full liability policy and our insurance. In previous agreements, it was stated that the Fair Association would maintain their own applicable insurance, and that was not happening. And so that's when the 2018 agreement came into place of transfer of ownership over to the county of their assets, and so that we would be properly insuring the fairgrounds. I did have some really good conversation with Frank, and based on the information that was given over to me, my recommendation, and this obviously is entirely up to the commission, and Frank, I'm sure, has something to say as well, is I don't want by any means to absolve the Fair Association, but I do think that we need to look at having them do their two events, which is the Kids Fair and potentially the Ranch Rodeo. And then all the other leasing and everything is done through the park board until they have a board that is more actively pursuing wanting to do more. So that would leave that door open, and then they would just request the dollars that they need to put on those two events. And then this would kind of divide things up a little differently.
Have we figured out what that amount is? What is the amount that's necessary to put on those two events?
So when I added up their two events and their QuickBooks cost and some of those things, because they would have to be able to pay for those, I got right in the about $54,000 range. But then they also would like to still attend their trainings and these places that they go to learn further about fair events. But that was an additional $11,000 budget. So
Double budget.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm looking at their balance sheet. I mean, they've got total assets of $136,000, right? Cash of $131,000. Is that am I correct here? As of January? Well, I guess I'll take ownership of, where we're at right now. I've just been concerned. I mean, we're fixing to write a check for $24,000?
About a 125, pretty close, yeah.
And I'm all good with supporting the fair, but I just want to see some accountability here. What's it for? And as I understand it, they want to put the ranch rodeo on and the kids fair, right? And the kids fair, where's Frank at?
Brings you there.
20,000 for the kids fair? Yep, and then you've got also in the ranch rodeos, what?
I'm not sure about the ranch show. I really haven't been involved in the ranch show, but that's also a money-making deal. Kids fair, budget that you look at, way inflated over what we spent. We don't spend nearly that amount of money. And I don't think that takes into account the money that we round up for sponsorship, which is another $6,000 to $7,000.
Well, I guess,
And the reason that the financials are screwed up is because Fair Board, or the Park Board employee that was micromanaging the fairgrounds, she was supposed to be submitting.
Frank, did you want to come up to the podium and just state your name so it's on camera?
My voice was loud enough for you could hear it, but anyway, we went several meetings, and Bernie can attest to this because he was at the meetings. We went several meetings with no financial report. And then when we got one, the stuff was kind of clumped together, and you're sitting there trying to sort this stuff out, and a lot of it was miscellaneous. So we were sitting there basically in the dark on this stuff. We knew we were making money on these events, but it wasn't necessarily being reflected in the financial statements. And then at the end of the year, when September came along, when it came to submitting the budget, we did get together and submit a budget. And Dustin submitted it. We got the budget, gave it to him, and apparently nobody seems to know where this budget went to. I don't know if she kept it, didn't give it to.
No,
I
Didn't give
wouldn't
to
say
you,
this is
or-
whatever, if this is the budget, I wouldn't say that's a traditional budget typically that we act on. But, I mean, can I ask a couple questions? I mean,
Sure.
Can we make some assumptions that you're still planning the county fair? You're working with the Rough Rider Commission, correct?
That's correct,
Right, to make all that happen. And they do the carnival and the rodeo, is that correct?
right?
Okay.
Demolition derby?
And also,
Demolition Derby, okay.
and we also work with the 4-H. We
Yes.
have, obviously with the new livestock barn out there, it's gonna be more permanent now.
Has there
than it
been
was
an ask
before.
a formal ask from 4-H for any funds for the 26 achievement days yet?
Well, we normally give them funds.
Yes. No, I
Yeah,
understand.
they haven't been to our meeting yet, but I assume that's gonna happen relatively soon.
And typically it's for the tent, right? Which you
Well,
probably
the
won't
the
need the tent
tent
this
and
year.
then some other things that they have.
Okay.
The
So-
last meeting, Kurt was here on the pens, about giving the pens to the park board. And basically, the fair board's been buying those pens. Part of their budget almost every year has been us giving them money for pens. That's how we got to 12, 13,000. I mean, we started out with about 5, and then all of a sudden the next year, I see $10,000. I'm going, what happened here? This thing doubled in 1 year? Well, that was what the deal was. It was the pens, and then we've been doing that every year. And they got some other expenses too that they have connected with the fair. That Stark County, really, when you look at the century code, one of the main objectives of this fair is the 4-H Achievement Days. And that's why we moved it to June. The 4-H Achievement Days used to be later, but we moved it to June so that the kids could take their static exhibits up to the state fair in July rather than take them home from the achievement days later and put them in the shed for a whole year and then dig them out the next year and try to take them up to the state fair. And, mostly blue ribbon prizes are going up to the state fair, so they sit around and not necessarily blue ribbon shape anymore, so.
So we don't really necessarily have a hard number here of what you need to put on the county fair.
No, not exactly, no.
Well, I'd
I
like to
mean,
get
we
that.
got it in our budget, but it seems like we never really got the reports back. So much of the stuff was clumped together, you couldn't really like separate all the individual things.
'Cause
That's
in
what
the-
I'm trying to say. And I mean, I guess I'm kind of a little bit upset because we're being questioned when it was your employee that did this thing and did the budgeting and came to us with it. I mean, yeah, we were sort of micromanaged and kept in the dark. I think as far as the real expenses, we don't really know what the real expenses are. Only she knew what the real expenses were.
Well,
And how she moved it around, I have no idea.
I mean, in past, just for history lesson here
Yeah.
is, I mean, the Fair Association gets a fairly sizable amount from us, the county commission, or Stark County actually, to put on the county fair, and with no accounting, we have no idea. And on top of that, there's an additional ask coming back to the park board to put on the rodeo. We get, like last year, we gave the $125,000 to the Fair Association, then we also put out about $85,000 from the park board to the Rough Rider Commission to put on the rodeo. So, okay, I mean, what is it
Yeah,
here?
and that's where a little bit of the confusion does come
Yeah,
in.
I'd say.
Because when we started out with this, we had one mill. And out of the one mill, we did the 4-H, the Best Friends of Mentoring, the Southwest Speedway, the Dakota Drag Racers, and a couple other ones. And then all of a sudden, for some strange reason, they decided to go to a half a mill, and then the park board was going to do the other half. I mean, I know the real reason, but I don't want to give it out.
Okay, but Frank, at the time when you guys went from 1 mil to a half a mil, the county was also not providing a full-time paid benefited employee to do the fair board's stuff.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah. So at that time, so when you went to half a mil, I mean,
We actually gained on the deal.
yeah,
That's what I'm dealing with.
You did.
That's what you're trying to say, right?
yes.
Ultimately,
You know, our expense went.
I just want you to know that I'm completely in favor of having a great fair out there. I just want to make sure that have some accountability here, and that's all I want.
And I can see what your concern is, but like I said, the fair board really hasn't even been given a chance because we never got the numbers for this stuff. I mean, I'm saying, and Karen and I talked about this the other day, that we may have to hire a treasurer because we've been gone the last 3 months now without a treasurer. And so we're just sort of winging this financial, but Bailey's been going in there and coming up with the best financial report that she can based on what's there. But really, long-term down the road, either we need to hire an accounting firm to do this thing so that we have accurate numbers as to what's going on, or just forget the whole thing and just give the whole work to the park board and go home.
I don't think we want to see that, Frank. I think
Well, I don't after being there 25 years. Yeah, I think if we let this thing flow in the normal situation where everybody's transparent with the numbers, and then maybe come back our next year and say, okay, this is what happened last year. We need to fix this. We need to move this money over here. Maybe you don't need a half a mil anymore.
well, that's what I'm
That's, I mean, they're rather, make the decision now before we got everything on the
Well,
table. It's kind of premature, I think.
Yeah, so we've budgeted the half mil, 125,000,
Right.
let's say. So would there be any harm in granting 50% of that to come to the Fair Association now to allow you to start planning? And then in the meantime, we can figure out where this is all going. So if there needs to be additional funds, we have it in our budget, but yet we're doing our due diligence in trying to, do our best with county funds. Does that make any sense, or is that not?
That makes sense. That makes sense. We don't have a problem. The only question I have is, when I looked at House Bill 1591, that's $100,000 that's supposed to be coming back to the Stark County Fair Board. And the way it's noted in that bill, it's for capital improvements.
Well, but part of I wrote the application. So
But doesn't
That
really.
that money is dedicated to the 4-H or the livestock building. That's
Right.
all you can use it for.
Yeah, it says fairgrounds for capital improvement project only. You can't take it and use it to give.
Right, exactly. And that's why I saw it. I
Right.
saw the
Yeah.
comment, it's on the projected income line, but those dollars were already in our calculation
Right.
when we approved the livestock building. So when the building's done and you complete the grant application, those funds come in and they're gonna.
Right, and then that
pay
would show
bills.
up on our financial statement as being 100,000 out
Right,
of there.
right.
You know.
Can I make a suggestion that you engage with a local accounting firm? I mean, I would think it wouldn't cost you all that much to get some professional accounting help to help you through the process here.
And I don't know where the switch came in. You know, at one time we did have an accounting firm that was doing our information. And then all of a sudden, somebody decided, well, we don't need to do it. I could do that.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. Well, then you get the delay in the reports. This way, you call the accounting firm and say, hey, I need a balance sheet based on October
Yeah.
1st. The balance sheet
well,
comes
like in
in.
our case, we went 2-3 months without anything.
Right, right. I get
You know,
it.
you'll testify to that, Bernie and Dustin also. I mean, you look at our minutes, the financial report was tabled. The financial report was tabled. We had problems with QuickBooks. There was something with the computer. I mean, there's always an excuse as to why we weren't getting the financial report at the meeting.
Frank,
And most of the time, we were approving the expenses after they were incurred.
Yeah.
The person came to the meeting and said, these are the expenses, and it's already done. So then we were approving something that was already done. It was just backwards the way it should have been.
yeah.
The expenses should have came to the board. We should have looked at them and said, well, do we really need to spend $1,300 on this? And instead it was the other way around. Yeah, I spent $1,300 to do this. Well, we want these bills approved, of course.
Well,
We always approved them.
I'd like to move forward, and not look backwards
Right.
on this deal. Let's move
Well,
forward.
I just want you to know how we're in the situation that we're in.
Yeah,
And I think if given a chance, we could fix this.
yes.
So you mentioned we withheld the 125K, right? And you're proposing maybe that 62.5K.
Yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
saying, give them 50% now.
Yeah.
They need to do some planning. Give them the money. It gives them funds to operate or plan. It gives us time to get accountability, and then we can take a look at it once all this stuff is kind of.
When do you anticipate having conversations with the Rough Rider Commission concerning the rodeo or their events?
Almost any time. I mean, we have them give a report every one of our meetings, so that's next week. And we always ask them, okay, you know, what do you got going on? Who you been hiring? What kind of, you know, they haven't come to us with a number yet.
Okay.
And actually, nobody has come with a number yet. That's why I wasn't overly concerned when she said she was holding 125,000, because the day-to-day expenses that we have right now, we've got plenty of money in our checking account to cover that stuff.
What I'd
It's
like
when
to-
we start bringing the kids fair in and start writing these checks for 3,000 to 5,000.
Yeah. I think it's great now that you're here. I mean, we want to hear from the Fair Association. It'd be great, you know, even get a recap from you after it's all said and done, how it went, you know, what it cost and so on and so forth. So there's further accountability down the road. So
Right.
don't be afraid to show up and give, you know,
Yeah,
communicate
well, I
with
think
us.
that's good. I don't think, you know, we're having our meeting next week, and I'll bring it up to the Fair Board members that at this time, we're gonna be getting 62.5. And then at the end of the year, whenever we get everything done with, we can go back for the other 62.5. I mean, I don't see where we're really gonna need all that extra money, except we would have to decide, are you gonna do all of the Rough Rider requests for funds? Or are we gonna do the $60,000 or $70,000 request for funds? That's when we would need the money, when we decide that.
We have funding set aside in the park board for community, or
That, they should be coming to the park
125,000.
board at this point.
I think that the Rough Rider already gets their funds through the park board. Are you saying that they get funds from the Fair Board as well? The
Yeah.
Rough Rider Commission?
Yes.
Do they get half their funds from you guys?
I don't know what the numbers percentage-wise is, if it's necessarily half or not, but,
It's not in there.
You know-
It's not in your budget numbers.
Yeah,
though.
I don't even see that in your budget numbers, Frank.
okay.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure that their funds is already coming
You're getting-
from the park board, and we're paying them as the bills come in. That's how that was working.
So why are 2 Rough Rider Commission members on the park board then? I mean, the Fair Board. We have 2, we get a report every month
I
from the
mean,
2.
the Fair Board is made up of all the entities that use it. We got the 4-H on there, we got the Rough Rider Commission on there, we got the horse people on there, we've got everybody
Right.
that give input into the Fair Board.
I just find it kind of strange.
We wanna hear all their voices, you know, and whatever concerns they have.
Well, yeah, and then like I said, if all the money to the Rough Rider Commission comes through the park board, we don't really have a reason to get
It doesn't sound like that's
$125,000.
actually the case. It sounds like they get some from the Fair Association too.
I don't think they
I don't
do.
think
It doesn't show any of that on the.
Yeah.
It's not even budgeted for.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like I said, the 32 events we put on out there, I mean, it really have an accurate statement. They should be listed. How much does each event bring in? And it's not listed
The
that
only two
way.
events we have are the kids fair and the, ranch rodeo. That's the only two that we have expenses on.
Well, in your budget, currently, all the contracts are done through the Fair Association. I guess what I'm wondering with the Fair Association, if you were just in charge of the kids fair and the ranch rodeo for now, and then we do these other things under the park board, the bills, everything would be paid under the park board, not under the Fair Association. Do you think that that would help the Fair Association kind of get straightened? And then if you want to expand and ask for more in the future and do more events, that opens the door. Right now, I don't know why we're doing 30 events under the Fair Association.
Yeah, we're
You know what I
doing
mean?
32 events out there. I mean, starting in
Yeah.
April until the end of September, we've got something going on out there almost every weekend. So nobody can tell me that we're not making money, but we know it's getting moved around. I mean, I'm not saying that that's necessarily wrong or not, but it's not transparent on the financial statements. What you're seeing out of financial statements is really not what's happening out there, especially the way it was presented to the fair board by
Okay.
a person that supposedly was our accounting person.
Well, we're still not real 100% clear exactly how much they need, but I'm willing to go along with that proposal.
Well, it's a start.
Yeah, I mean, that's,
50%, and then come July or September, whatever.
Yeah.
So I
Commissioner
can-
White?
I'll make a motion then on this. So I'd make a motion to grant the Fair Association the $62,500. And before any other funds are released after that, or if they need them, they will need to have a vetted accounting firm or some kind of appropriate that can get you a clean balance sheet, financial sheet.
Okay, we have a motion.
I'll second that.
So motion by Commissioner White, second by Commissioner Claris. Any discussion? Comments?
all right. We
Here,
will
just-
talk about this
hold-
at the
Hold on, you don't
meeting.
have approval yet,
Oh.
so. So, roll call vote. Commissioner White.
Aye.
Commissioner Claris.
Aye.
Commissioner Franchuk.
Aye.
Commissioner Marsh.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Thank you. Motion carries.
Okay. and
Thank
then
you,
our
Frank.
Meeting next week, Wednesday, I will explain all this to the board and inform them that we are to look for an accounting firm.
Okay,
I happen to know a couple pretty good accountants, but the only problem is their last name is Klein. So I probably won't hire them. Thank you.
Conflict of interest, Frank.
Great, that's, I'm 100% above water with that. It's already been brought up and we did the W-9s. I was gonna have them do it. I said, no way.
okay.
you.
Thanks for your effort. Okay. Next on the agenda, that concludes our scheduled agenda. I'm going to make one announcement. I've asked Commissioners Franchuk and Marsh to meet next week with the city to, regarding the MOU on the public safety tax and have them come up with a recommendation for our March 3rd meeting. Any other comments, Commissioners?
Does that need any action or not? No?
No.
No.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Until 2 o'clock.
And wait, well, yeah, so
Aye.
the reason most people are here is for the park board meeting. So we'll adjourn to 2 o'clock, actually.